welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name's Chelsea, and if you're new around here, we like to do beauty related content on this channel. If that's something that you like, then please hit subscribe, and if you're already subscribed, then please click on the little bell and you'll be notified of every time that I upload. So in today's video, we're testing out the new Beautybay Love Notes palette, and as you can see, we created a really fun, purpley, romantic cut crease vibe, which I'm absolutely here for. So yeah, if you want to see how I created this look, hear my thoughts on the palette, see swatches, etc, then please stay tuned. So this bad boy was released end of January for their Valentines collection. Now if you can remember last year, I did a review on the new romantic palette, which was last year's Valentine's collection, and this is what the last year looks like. If you haven't seen that video, then I'll link it down below, and in comparison, this is what this year looks like. So two quite different palettes, to be honest, but they look really nice together actually. Putting that side by side, how nice do they look together? Oh my god, I absolutely love that. So yeah, at first, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't really impressed with the colour story because I just thought it was a little bit boring. But you know what? Beautybay, and I said this before, Beautybay's product photographer is pants. I'm not gonna lie. The release photographs or whatever they did for the palette when they launched the palette just looked really washed out and wasn't really exciting, etc. But seeing this is actually so much more prettier in person. There are a few, obviously, pastel shades. There are a few shades that are similar, like soap and lavender. They're quite similar. And there are shades in here that I recognise, which I will show you. Handkerchief, there, is similar to the new romantic palette, Flamingo. So here is Handkerchief, and here is Flamingo. Do you see? They are actually quite similar. And then there's another similar shade. So in the new romantic palette, we've got Chintz, so this shade here, which is quite like a really nice jewellery chrome. And in the new palette, we've got Pillow, which is there. And look how similar those two shades look. They look basically the same. And then I spotted another one as well. That shade from the new palette is very similar to Oyster in that palette. Very similar. So it seems like there are repeated shades in this palette, which I thought I did recognise, to be honest, which is quite annoying because obviously, especially between these two, they're both Valentine collection, and I just feel like you could do something a little bit different for Valentine's. If you're going to repeat the shades, you might as well just advertise this one again, if that makes sense. I don't know, that's just my opinion. Yeah, so this retails for £15. It's a £20 eyeshadow palette, and it says step into a hazy daze and become obsessed with the Love Notes palette, featuring 20 shades that are wearable for every day while still allowing you to get creative. You're going to fall in love with this palette time after time, ranging from soft lavenders to playful florals and sparkly pinks. Let us introduce you to your new makeup suitor. The fact it has suitor and it has this on the outer carton is giving me major Bridgerton vibes, which season 2 is out soon, by the way, and I absolutely love Bridgerton. So yeah, that's what it reminded me of. So this is the unit carton that it came in, with like the wax kind of stamp there. Obviously it's not actual wax, but that's what it's meant to represent. And then obviously, yeah, this palette. So I do actually love the packaging. It is really pretty. The Love Notes bit is raised. But yeah, I just don't understand why there's these neutrals. I kind of get it in a sense of more people can use this as an everyday wear. Like a lot of the previous £20 palettes have been very bold, very bright, like Wilderness, Age of Opulence, and things like that. However, I don't know, I just don't feel like it fits in with the rest of the colour story. Like, I absolutely love these two rows, which is what really drew me into the palette. Like this little section here, I just feel like we don't need it because there's other shades that are needed instead. If you want to do a neutral palette, you've got the Golden Age. I don't know if that's still available, or you've got the nude ones, like the big 42, the 16 and the 9, I think. So yeah, so there are options for people if they want neutrals. I just feel like this shouldn't have been that in this palette, and I think that's what's put a lot of people off. Yeah, like I said, this palette is a lot prettier in person and the shimmers are stunning. So that's enough of me rambling on, so let's get into the swatches and then the eye look. And also I just want to give a quick mention to the lovely lady who inspired this look for me. So her name on Instagram is Kerry TMUA, and she created a really beautiful look like that, like a Valentines kind of look, and it looks beautiful. So yeah, it just inspired this shape with this palette. So yeah, just thought I'd mention. Okay, so I've just gone off camera and done this eye, and I'm absolutely obsessed with how it's turned out. So now we're gonna have to try and recreate it on this eye. This monster hits differently. So first of all, we're going to take the PLOUISE base shade 2 and just to prime my eyes. I have already cut out my eyebrows, but I haven't really put any base on, and it skews the state of my skin. Like, I've not been very well recently, and I've also got makeup all over my sleeve. Like, who wears a white jumper when they're filming with makeup? Let me know. And I'm just going to take my Spectrum A18 brush, just a flat brush, and I'm just going to load it up on both sides and make sure I'm taking it out as well, because obviously, as you can see, we've winged it out. So once I've got the base on, as always, I like to go in with a cheap fluffy brush and just pat it in. So just dip it in with a PLOUISE 122 brush. As you can see, a very, very small, dense brush. We're going to go into the Love Notes palette by Beautybay. Absolutely gorge. So we're going to go into the shade Glove, which is the darkest purple in the palette, and now we're just going to map out the cut crease shape and just basically stamping it where my crease is, pretty much. Doesn't have to be too neat anyway, because we're going to use a cut carver to carve it out. I'm just going to wipe my brush, and I'm just going to feather the end a little bit. There's a lot of pigment. This shade is very pigmented. I'm just going into my PLOUISE 124 brush. So it's just a very short, fluffy brush with no product on, and I'm just going to really softly try and just blend out the edge a little bit, because there is no medium purple shade, so it's such a jump. So you just need to make sure it's really blended, because that did take ages to blend, I'm not gonna lie. So now we're gonna go into Lilac, which is obviously the lilac shade, and I'm just going to take that on my MORPHE M562 brush, which again is a very small brush, and it's very kickbacky in the pan. If you can see, stuff like that doesn't really bother me. It's quite a light shade anyway, but we're just tickling that over the top to try and blend it out. And then we're going to go back in with our itty bitty brush into Glove and just re-intensify crease. Now we're going to go into a PLOUISE 115 brush, which is a slightly bigger brush, and we're going to go into Lavender, so this shade here. And I'm just going to use that to help blend out the outer edge. I'm just going to wipe the brush and use the same brush for Angel, so the really pale pastel pink here, and that's going to help blend the front. So we've basically got the blend. It's as good as it's going to get, because obviously we haven't got that mid purple. So now I'm going to take the PLOUISE cut carver and just stamp out with a acid rain brush. I'm just going to stamp out where I want to carve, basically. So I just load my brush up, and it's a little bit like a Vaseline texture, and I'm just going to stamp. And then I just take a wipe, it's a bit of a dirty wipe, and one of these spatula things. So I take that end and wrap it in my wipe, and now I'm just going to wipe where the Vaseline cut carver thing is. Next I'm just going to take my mixing plate and I'm going to mix PLOUISE Rumour Zero base along with the coloured base in Winter Rose, because I just really want that light pastel pink base. So as you can see, it looks very white on camera, but it is like a really pink, it's like this shade pink, and I'm just going to use that on my lid as my base ready for my shadow. So just like normal, I'm taking my my cheap fluffy brush, and I'm just carefully patting in the base so there's no excess. So now I'm just taking a PLOUISE 126 brush, and we're going to go back into Angel, so the pastel pink shade, and that's what we're going to pat all over the lid to set that base. So now we're going to go back into Glove, so the dark purple shade, and we're going to create the lower lash line. So I'm just going to run this along my lash line. It doesn't have to be neat because we're going to smudge it all in anyway. And then to do the wing area, just take a bit of my brush, and I'm just going to use the edge on my base and line it up. And it creates a really good wing. So I've got that, and I'm just going back in my Morphe brush with a bit of the lilac and lavender, and I'm just going to try and smudge a little bit over the top. Okay, and now we're going to go in with a shimmer, so we're going to go in with Princess. So I'm using the PLOUISE 122 brush again, but with Princess on, and I'm just going to pack that all over the where we put Glove on the lid. That is a really nice shade. So then we're also just going to wipe that brush. We're also going to go in with Pillow, so this shade here, which is quite like an iridescent shade, and again it's one of those spongy textures. I'm just going to pop that in my inner corner. Look at that, that's so nice. Okay, so with whatever mixture we've got left on my palette, I'm just going to run that along my lower lash line. Looking a bit crazy, but when we blend it all in, it will be fine. And it'll give us a nice bright under eye as well when we do the rest of the makeup. That's done. So now I'm going back in with my 122 brush and Glove. I'm just going to stamp that on the very outer edge of my lower lash line. And then I'm going to go into Lavender. I'm going to mix those two together. And then we're going to go into Pillow. Might also mix a bit of Chandelier into the other corner. So they are the eyes all done. So I'm just going to hop off on camera, do the rest of my face, put my lash on, blah 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 blah, and then I'll show you the final look and we can run through my thoughts on this palette. So this is the finished eye look and I'm obsessed. But now I feel like we need to do a blush and potentially a highlighter as well, because these three pink shades here would go really nice with the blush. But you know what? I've actually been looking everywhere for a lilac blush. I know Colourpop does one, but I don't want to just place a Colourpop order just for a lilac blush. And I know Melt Cosmetics do one, but theirs is quite expensive. So, I don't know, I think I might mix the lilac and the pink. So I think I might go with Soup and Angel, maybe, or actually just lilac. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. A lilac blush. So I'm just taking my Spectrum A05 into lilac. Let's give it a whirl. I actually really like that. It's just really subtle. I actually really like that. And then I think for my highlight, I'm going to go with Chandelier. So this shade here, which swatched like that. So I'm really going to dip a little bit because usually these are very pigmented. Oh, I love that. Just putting it on the high points of my cheeks. Nose. Oh, that is a perfect highlight shade. So on my lips, I have got a MAC Well lip liner with the Coloured Rain Mini Liquid Lipstick in Mauve Rose, and then topped with the Coloured Rain Clear Gloss. Oh my actual god, and the lashes that I've got are PLOUISE Q The Curl lashes, and yeah, absolutely love how this look has turned out. I'm really happy I was able to do something different to how I usually do like palette reviews, like, you know, dark on the outer edge, light on the inner, blah blah blah. So yeah, I'm really loving how this has turned out. Something fun, something creative with quite a muted palette, if that makes sense. So my thoughts on this palette is it's so much better in person, like so much better in person. There are shades that I could do without. It needs a mid-tone purple, mid-tones pinks to like blend out like these, and maybe even like a darker shade than that. So that's what I would change about this palette, because it is so hard to blend out Glove with lilac shade. So I would feel like I'd have to reach for other palettes if I want to use those shades again. The shimmers are absolutely beautiful, as they always are. Beautybay formula is actually really good. You know, Beautybay is one of my favourite brands, and also loved the lilac blush. Now I've found a lilac blush and I'm definitely just going to use from this palette, so I know that I'm going to reach for this palette quite a lot. I love purples. I've got so many ideas as well of like the one and done kind of eye looks with like the lavender and then the angel, handkerchief, the different shimmer shades. There's quite a few different looks that you can create with this palette. Yeah, I just really wish they had that mid-toned purple in between lavender and Glove. But yeah, other than that, the shades performed really well. Really happy with how this look has turned out. And yeah, that's all I've got to say. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure you give it a big thumbs up, and thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I shall see you in my next video. Bye!